Alright, this is the fourth SpongeBob review of the day. I have two more to do and then I'll be all caught up. This one's called Fools in April. Came out on April 1st, 2000. Because this is the April Fool's edition of SpongeBob, so comes out on April Fool's Day. So this was a very April Fool's Day episode. And I actually thought it was a good episode. It starts out with Gary sleeping, and SpongeBob wakes him up and tells him that they're moving. That they're gonna move. That they're gonna become peasants. And he wears he puts a hat that would be like a wizard's hat, really, with like a pointy hat and the beard. So does that mean wizards are technically peasants then? Does that mean Dumbledore from Harry Potter is a peasant? Does that mean Professor Crumbs from the Wizards of Waverly Place is a peasant? Good stuff to think about. I wonder if that was just to make fun of wizards now that you think about it, but I don't know. And then Gary even says no food. Peasants only eat salted clams or something like that, because he ate salted clams, which is weird because we talk about how salt melts snails. What would if a snail ate salt? Would it melt too, or like the insides or something? I don't know. But anyhow, it's all an April Fool's joke. Everything's all an April Fool's joke. That's like SpongeBob's favorite holiday, by the way. If you can tell, you really know it too in a second. And then SpongeBob says, he's thirsty. So then he pulls out like this big keg of drinks, and then he pours them in like 1,000 glasses, and then SpongeBob ends up he just said I'm exhausted, I can't wait to drink all these drinks. So then he says April Fool's. It's an April Fool's joke to himself. And then he starts laughing. He walks to work, and Squidward's like, what is he so happy about? And then he realizes that it's April Fool's Day, SpongeBob's favorite holiday. So when he goes to work today, he has to be extra. He's going to be extra annoying than he normally is. So then Squidward tells him that he can't come in today. He's caught something terrible. He has trying to remember what that stuff is called. You know how they will heat up water before you go to bed or something, or I forget what it's called, but it's like a hot water airbag or something. He's like, Mr. Krabs like, what'd you catch? He's like, I caught sign of the calendar. And he talked about, then Mr. Krabs talked about how there's this artist there or something ahead of the museum, and he wants to perform you at Artist of the Month. So then Squidward comes out. He has a mustache on. He has all this. He's all decked out like he's an artist. And Squidward's like, I have arrived. And then Squidward is like, and then Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob are laughing, and Squidward's like, what? And it was an art critic, by the way. And Mr. Krabs is like, Squidward's like, where's the art critic? And Mr. Krabs is like, you just missed him. And SpongeBob's like, what do you want me to tell you? And Squidward's like, what do you want me to tell you? And SpongeBob's like, he wanted me to tell you April Fools. And then Squidward turns in his head like, well, I'm out of here, Mr. Krabs. Thanks for everything. Here's return my last check to the P.O. box. And Squidward's like, wait. And I was like, wait, Squidward, no more jokes today to you, I promise. And Squidward's like, you do? Yeah. Besides, there's other critters I can prank. Right, Mr. Krabs? And, Mr. Krabs sits on, a whoopee cushion, so you know where that goes. And then, SpongeBob left and right is just pulling April Fool's jokes here and there. He tricks this old lady, who was asking where the forks were, and he tells her, and he points her, and he's like, they're right here. And then she points out a spoon, so it's an April Fool's joke. When he takes this guy's order, he tells the guy, he's like, what's that? And then he turns around and he has a drawing of himself on his, a drawing of a smiley face on the back of him, and the guy's like, hey, where'd the other guy go? And he's like, April Fools, I'm right here. And then he laughs about that. And then this guy had asked him for this one actually was, I think, was the best one that he did. Had asked him for a couple of ice cubes in his drink, and then SpongeBob went, and as the guy was drinking his drink, he was laughing about something, but anytime the guy looked at him, he just acted like he was a professional. Then when the guy finished, SpongeBob was laughing his ass off. The guy was like, what did you do to my drink? And then he's like, you asked me to put a couple of ice cubes in your drink, but I only put in one. And then as he's doing these pranks, Squidward pops up and he's like, and looks at him like awkwardly, and SpongeBob just gets scared of him all the time. And then SpongeBob just continues laughing his ass off though after he did the drink prank, and then I guess he actually laughs his ton off. That could be a new saying. Instead of laughing your ass off, laughing your ton off. Let's start that. Laughing your ton off. And him and his ton start laughing. And then Squidward's trying to cover up the laughter, but he can't do it. And then Squidward's like, that's it. I'm gonna show SpongeBob what a real prank is like. So then Squidward sets a trap. He puts mustard in a rope, and you know where this is gonna go. So SpongeBob goes to clean up the mess, and then Squidward cuts the rope, and then an anchor falls, and SpongeBob goes into the flour, into the ceiling of the Krusty Krab twice, and then he goes into this guy's ass, and Squidward's like, I'll catch you, SpongeBob, and then he catches him into the trash can, and Squidward's like, April Fools, you little sausage, and then SpongeBob runs away crying, and everybody hates him, and he's like, everyone's like, oh man, poor kid, everyone feels bad for him, and the guy's like, and one of the guys like, April Fools, jerk, and then as they're leaving, we hear one of these guys say, boo, and he's like, boo, you stink, and Squidward just looks around and he's like, ooh. And Squidward's like, how come every time I'm having fun, it's Ron? He's like, I didn't mean to make him cry. And then he's like, I have to tell SpongeBob I'm sorry. He pretty much is like, he knows he has to apologize, but he just can't get the word out. Anytime he does, it comes out really awkwardly. And Squidward's like, this is going to be harder than I thought. And he knows that. So then he goes to his house, and he's trying to apologize, but then he sees somebody digging, because he was wearing a Krusty Krab hat, and Squidward's trying to apologize to him, and I think right when he is about to, he realizes that he's Patrick, and he's like, what are you doing? Patrick's like, I'm digging. He's like, why are you wearing the hat? He's like, I don't know. And then Squidward asks, where's SpongeBob? And he's like, he's in the house, and he's impressed. And he's like, with what? And he's like, I don't know, but it must have been pretty good to make him cry like that. So I think he actually was depressed, but Patrick for some odd reason said impressed, which was funny as hell. And then Squidward tries to get inside the house. SpongeBob ends up taking the part that turns the door. He takes off like that, the knob, I guess that would be. And then Squidward plays his clarinet that gets SpongeBob to over the door. He's like, what do you want? And he's trying to apologize, but he still can't get the words out, so he's gonna find a different way to do it. He tries to write a note in a bottle and stuff, but SpongeBob doesn't have a bottle opener, so that doesn't work. Squidward uses the soup cans and ties a string to him, and you can use those as kind of walkie-talkies ish. And he drives off, and he tries to tell him that, but Patrick is using the string to floss his teeth. So then Squidward is trying to say it. He finally says it, but he's moving his hand so that it kind of makes bubbles, and he says it into one of the bubbles, so SpongeBob couldn't hear it, but Squidward didn't care. All he cared about was that he said it, so he realized his conscience is clear. But then it really wasn't, because he finds people of what Patrick said, when Patrick's like, must have been pretty good to make him cry like that. And then of the guy saying April Fool's jerk, and then one of them was saying you stink, and instead of that the actual guy, it was Squidward's mother, and Squidward was like, mother. And then Squidward apologizes. He goes above and beyond and apologizes. He apologizes, and he even admits that he likes SpongeBob, how he likes his squeaky laugh, how he likes being his neighbor, how he likes when his foghorn goes off, and he mentions how he likes all the main characters that are in SpongeBob and everybody else he's forced to be in contact with. And SpongeBob's like, Squidward, is all that true? And he's like, yes, SpongeBob, yes, it's all true, but you have to promise not to tell everybody. And SpongeBob's like, I promise. And he's like, really? And then SpongeBob's like, April. And then SpongeBob opens the door, and a bunch of people in there saying April Fools, like pretty much everybody, the cast and stuff. Squidward's like, yeah, April Fools, I just fooled you all. And then he runs back in his house, kind of crazy because he knows he's been duped. And then SpongeBob, it ends with SpongeBob saying, what would we do without Squidward? So that was the end. So I guess that whole thing was just a big April Fool's joke. I guess when SpongeBob got upset, he wasn't really upset. It was all an April Fool's joke. I guess everybody was in on it. I guess the guys back at the Krusty Krab, Mr. Krabs was in on it. Patrick, Sandy was even in on it. I don't really know if Plankton was in on it. I'm not sure about that. But Gary was in on it. So I guess everybody was in on it, which was good stuff. I thought this was a good episode, actually. I don't know if this is still my favorite. I might... You know what I'm going to do? Instead of just saying, this might have been my favorite, what I'm going to do is after I watch every one, I'm going to make a video... Well, after I watch all the current ones that have been made, I'm going to make a video to list my top 10 SpongeBob episodes. So that way, instead of just saying, this was my favorite, I can, like, just make a list of all my favorite SpongeBob episodes or something. But, yeah, this was a good episode. I like how they make the theme episodes. They stuck with the theme, like the Halloween. They did the Halloween theme. They did that theme. And this was the April Fool's theme. You don't really see a lot of shows with April Fool's themes, really, anyways. Like, you really don't. So at least SpongeBob did that, and they utilized the theme, so it was good stuff. I thought it was good stuff. So I'll be back to do 2 more SpongeBob episodes. I got 2 more to do, so that's pretty much it, guys. Be back in a second.